Hi everybody, I'm J-Man. Today we are playing Gran Turismo, the real driving simulator. We've been having a hiccup on the FR challenges, so we're going to hit that FR challenge that we've been having a hiccup on. Then we're going to move over to Boxer Spirit, because we've been doing well on Boxer Spirit, and I like doing well. But we're not just going to race. We're going to talk about this verse from Exodus 3, verse 14. God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. I like this verse. So, this particular verse is God talking to Moses. And God is telling Moses, this is the one that has the best horsepower. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win. God is telling Moses during this pericope, go to Egypt and tell the Pharaoh that you need to set my people free. I'm looking at myself and I'm not center screen. And let's change this. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to adjust where I am. This is too loud. Earlier I thought it was too quiet. So what happened is, if you don't know, I'm going to give you a quick backstory here. Israel has been in Egypt for years. Hundreds, maybe thousands of years in Egypt. And as they've been in Egypt, they've become enslaved. The Pharaoh is using them for free labor. And during this time, a man named Moses was born. And Moses was born during a time where the Pharaoh was saying to kill all of the Israelite males. And the lady the midwife, that's the word I'm looking for. When the midwife saw Moses, the midwife said, this child needs to survive. Told the mother to hide the child, and she did for as long as she could. And when she couldn't hide the child anymore, she put him in a basket and floated him down the river. The idea wasn't to kill Moses, but for whoever found Moses to take Moses as their own child. And what happened is the Pharaoh's daughter took Moses as her own child and adopted him. Now Moses' mom was able to wean Moses, but once Moses was weaned, he belonged to the Pharaoh's daughter. He was the Pharaoh's grandson. And at one point he was out trying to get to know the people of Israel, which he knew he was connected to. Get to know them a little better, be part of their lives a little better. And when he saw an Egyptian beating horribly an Israelite, and Moses was like, this is not cool. So he killed the Egyptian who was beating the Israelite. And then he realized what he'd done, and he thought nobody saw him, but apparently some Israelites saw him, and they said, what, are you going to kill us like you killed the Egyptian? And he freaked out. And that's when Grandpa realized that he had killed an Egyptian soldier. And so Moses ran to a place called Midian. Saved some women from some Midianite men. Basically, they were not allowing the ladies to get water for their sheep. He helped them get water for their sheep. And in doing so, he saved these women, and they invited them to dinner. And at dinner, their father said, you can have one of my daughters, I'll let you marry her. Their father was a priest, and so Moses married one of this man Jethro's daughters. And they didn't really ask where he came from or too much about his history, so they were like, okay, whatever. And Jethro said, "You're gonna need a job, and I got a lot of sheep, and obviously my daughters can't handle being a shepherd. But you got food, you got water for my sheep earlier, so I think you'll make a good shepherd." One day, after years of being a shepherd, he's going through his normal shepherding area, I guess you could call it that, and he sees a bush that is burning, but it's not being consumed with fire. It's burning, but it's not on fire. So he says, "I should take a look at this." And as he gets close, God calls to him from the bush and says, "Moses." And Moses says, "Yes." And God said, "Take off your shoes. This is holy ground." I almost did that verse, but I thought, no, not that verse. And as Moses is getting close and finding out what's going on, God says, "I have heard the people of Israel's complaints and cries from Egypt. You're going to Egypt, and you're going to tell the Israelites that you are going to talk to your uncle, and you're going to free Israel." And Moses said, "No." And God said, "Yes, I will be with you." Okay, well, Moses starts making excuses at this point. And there's a long list of excuses that comes later. We're not going to get into all those, because I just want to kind of get you up to speed on how we got here. And one of Moses' excuses is, "Well, who do I tell the Israelites sent me?" And God said, "I am who I am. So you will tell the Israelites, I am sent you." And Moses said, "Okay, fine, whatever." But God said, "But here's the thing. You're going to tell the Pharaoh to let my people go, and he's not going to let my people go." And Moses said, "Excuse me?" And God said, "Yeah, you're going to have to, he's going to have to suffer a couple losses, but just follow with me on this." And, you've heard of the 10 plagues of Egypt. This is kind of how they got started. And, Moses said, "Okay, sure, we'll let it happen." And the plagues happened, and the Israelites wound up getting freed. That's not all of the important stuff that happened here, though. What's important to me is the idea that, what God said, "I am who I am." Now, we've heard this before, because I've talked about this already. In fact, I used this verse in particular when I talked about it. When I talked about Revelation and God saying, "I am who is, who was, and who is to come." I am is a constant flow of never ending. It's not just a "I am right now" or "I exist in this current time." It's "I am. Now, as I mentioned, because God is outside of the laws of time and space, that event where God said "I am," or the God who is, who was, and who is to come, is spoken in aspect of who God is, at the same time as Moses hearing "I am who I am, so tell them that I am sent you." And it's at the same time as I'm speaking. And since I'm recording this at a different time that you will be hearing this, God is at that same spot at the exact same time. Talk about a multitasker. But that's really what this verse has to say, and I guess I summed it up a lot faster than I wanted to. I mean, I could say that the Popeye joke where a pastor that I heard said, "I am who I am." That's what Popeye said, and I didn't even try to pretend to be Popeye there. But that's Now I can't even talk. That's who God is. God is who God is. We, as God's children, get to experience the same God that told Noah to build the ark, the same God that told Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac, the same God who told Job that, or who questioned if Job could have an ox at his manger, the same God that came to earth as a baby to die for the sins of the world on a cross. The same God that stopped Paul on the road to Damascus, blinded Paul, and we finally won this race. We are done with the FR Challenge races, at least for now, unless they add more races later. And we got a handicap for that car, even though that was the best car that I thought I could find. That's impressive. I did not expect that to need a handicap. Wow. Cool. That's even better. Especially with as much as we struggled with that. But look, all gold. Nice. Now we're going to move to the Box of Spirits. And we're going to move to race 5, an 8-lap race. And we're going to do it in the Porsche 911. Collecting some thoughts here really quickly. God is eternal. And because of God's eternalness, God is able to be without question. It's not a God is because, or I'm trying to form the words better. When God says, I am who I am, Jesus later uses the word saying, I am, and it actually, it bothers the Pharisees, because the Pharisees start to think that Jesus is being blasphemous. This is one of the times where they're like, he's being blasphemous, because only God is. And the phraseology of that, especially in English, is hard to understand, because, you know, like if I were to say my name, I would be I am J-Man. And that's kind of what is frustrating in English when we read this I am. Okay, you are who? What? There's no name. You are Scooby-Doo? You are a race car driver? You are God? And so there's an annoying sense of, how do we comprehend just who God is based on this I am statement? Like, I am hungry? Because for us, in English, I am who I am is a defining statement. And I will admit that, yes, I am still defines God as in immeasurable by time, existing consistently, qualifying God as not having a starting and not having an ending. There is no gravestone that starts at a certain date with a dash between it and ends on a certain date. When it comes to God, God is. And that's the point he's trying to make for Moses. And later he says, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. those 3 men have all died. But God still says, I am their living God. And it's interesting because this is how, throughout Scripture, God is described. When he's described as the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob. And that kind of goes back to what Jesus was saying, because he said, when Abraham, I am, is something to the effect of what he said, which is what annoyed everybody, because they're like, well, that doesn't make sense because you don't look like you're 5,000 years old. And they got annoyed because only God could be that old. And that was what God was trying to tell Moses, is that he has existed forever and will exist forever. There is no moment of non-existence for God. Wow. I had to let that sink into myself. There is no non-existence for God. There's no time where God has not actually existed in history. I know. Crazy. When we ask, so when Moses is asking, well, who do I say sent me? And God says, I am sent me. Okay. Until we realize that I am is no start, no end, forever. And then I can say, God is forever. That's about all I have to say about that. I don't have much to say about my racing right now either, except that I am feeling really good about it. And because both vehicles that I've been driving today are black, I keep getting confused and thinking that this is still the Nissan, and going, man, this Nissan drives great. But then I remember that it's the Porsche. And I'm probably saying it wrong, but that's okay. This is a really windy course. Now, I'll give a little bit more to the story since we've got some time. I talked about the 10 plagues and the Passover. That's what all this leads to, was the Passover. And then when they escape, they get to the Red Sea, and when they get there, they can't go anywhere. So God tells Moses to lift up his staff, and when Moses lifts up his staff, this giant wind comes. And maybe we'll talk about this one soon. I like this one. The giant wind comes and separates the water. Now, what you would expect to see in this case is like the beach, where the waves come in and then they pull back, and the water where the waves just were is wet and the water's seeping away. No. The water is dry. They walk across the Red Sea on dry land. They get all the way to the other side, and then Pharaoh and his men get to that side, or get to the, start crossing as well. And God says, okay, drop your hands. And Moses drops his hands, and the waters just flood over the Egyptians. And that's it. That's game over right there. That's how God saved the Israelites from Egypt. So then they go to Sinai, and we've talked about Sinai. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we have talked about Sinai, but I didn't tell you how we got there, so now you know how we got there. Oh, watch out, Beetle. I don't know if I've lapped that car more than once, or if that's a second Beetle that I've lapped. And what kind of dude brings a Beetle to a race like this? Who do you think's gonna win, a Beetle or a Porsche? I asked this question before, a Beetle or a Ferrari? I think we both know the answer to that. Obviously, I've either lapped the same Beetle twice, or I've lapped two separate Beetles. Because they don't even have 100 horsepower. I'm surprised that one, if it's a separate Beetle, I'm surprised it made it around twice before, or around 7 laps before it got lapped once. Then again, maybe I'm not as fast as I think I am. There's a lot of twists and turns on this track that I gotta pay attention to. I don't want to accelerate too quickly around a corner and wind up going too far around the edge, but I don't want to go too slow. I don't want to be slowed down for too long and have somebody behind me catch up. It doesn't matter to me if they are 6 seconds behind me. That's too close in my mind. Alright. This feels good. Tonight I am liking this. I could, with the 6 seconds, I could have taken the pit and probably still won. 8 seconds? Yeah, I could have taken the pit and still won, but it would have been a lot closer, so I'm going to take the win. There's the win. Cool. Look at us go today. Look at us go. 50,000 credits. Alright. And we still need to go 3.1 miles. Let's see how long, let's see what the next track looks like. I think what we'll do is we'll go back to school. 2 laps, yeah, let's go to school, because we can do these 2 the next time we race, because that's how far we are. I wanted to go to driving school. Man, this feels good though. This feels good. Almost makes me feel like I could be successful at this cornering. I don't know. I don't think so. But we'll give it a try. We got some time. And I do want to get my new car. I feel kind of bad though, because like I've been able to get the new car without having to do this, so I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Am I like cutting corners and not getting all the mileage? Did I cut 3 miles out of the way I'm racing? Huh. And now the loading. Loading, loading, loading. There we go. Alright. So, we were having trouble with this the last time we were racing here. But I think if we can stay like we learned in the last race, we might be able to get this. Nope, that's not going to help. We got to stay on the cement. That definitely helps. But I feel like I'm going a little bit faster than I did the last time I did it. Nope, not anywhere near faster. Alright, let's see. So that's 0.6 of a mile. Oh boy. Alright. And I have to leave and then start, but at least it's a little bit faster. There we go. We get in and out a little bit faster now, so that's good. And then with the ghost car, I'll be able to help figure out what I did wrong. Whoa! Yeah, look at that. Kicking up some smoke back there. Ooh. Slowing down though, because I'm letting my ghost catch up. Now my ghost isn't caught up. My ghost is far behind me now, but I feel like I was still at about the same time. And I've got to stay on the track, on the racetrack. Can't get on that grass. But that's okay. We got time. I just got to be patient with myself. That's the real issue. Okay, there we go. That's better than the last time. Okay. I stayed on the track that time. Oh yeah, I'm liking my time now. Still not sure about it, but I'm liking that was better. I'm slowly getting better on this one. I like it. 1 mile to go, so that's about 2 to 3 more attempts, assuming we don't get it in 2 to 3 more attempts, but that's okay. Getting some practice, learning some sharp turns. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Oh, that's so bad. All right. Well, as long as we're behind that car in front of us, we know we're not going to make it because they didn't make it, so that's all right. Just got to get to the end. Boom! Into the ghost. That didn't really work. Okay, so we got the mileage points. Okay, so one more time. That's all we got. We're just going to give it one more time. Because we're 4/10 of the way there. So all we need to do is just one more. Okay, that's looking good. Just a little bit better than the best one that we've got so far. Oh, not great though, because that better than the best just got better. Nope, we're not better than the best. Darn. Alright, it's okay. That just means we still need more practice. But not tonight. Tonight, we're gonna pick up our new car. Because we did good. 26 miles, 2 victories. So here's our daily workout. And yes, I basically played... I'm just recording these ahead of time, so that's why the dates look similar. Oh, ooh, that's a nice looking car. Alright, what do we got? A Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren 2009. Not bad. But thank you for watching. May God bless you, and remember, the I Am God loves you.